Okay, Bountiful Ruins. I wonder how soon the dungeon will be. I guess it kind of depends on how long they want to draw out the specific sort of story beats. Also, I did not do this intentionally, but we did match the color scheme of both of us, and I kind of love it, and it's very cute. You will recall I spoke of visiting Thavnair at Vrtra's request. Well, he finally invited me to a feast, and made his proposal once I was too full of Hannish delights to refuse. He wishes me to train the Radiant Host in lance work. Oh, but that is a tale for another time. What we need now is a merchant or a trawler with a ship fit for the open seas. Matsya is a fisherman by trade, yes? We should head to Akyali and see if he can help us. I want to go in his boat! I wonder how the baby is! Oh, I hope the baby's good. This is also fun because it does seem like they're kind of treating this... It's the start of something new, right? But it also kind of feels a little bit like an epilogue in a sense. But like, obviously it's going to be its whole own thing with its whole own story. But there is kind of a nice little sense of closure for all the characters and all the little story beats and the moments in the world. And that's lovely. That's good. I am hoping to hire a ship, of course, rather than buy one. My funds would not stretch quite that far. We also get the new tribe quest this patch. I haven't even gone to peek yet. My friends, what brings you to our humble village? I was just revisiting and like looking back over all the stuff that happens at Thavnair with him and the baby, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is even more just like intense and nerve-wracking and upsetting than I remember in like the best possible way. It was such a good story beat, but holy cow. When I first met him and you're like peddling fish for him, I never expected that that would be where the story took us in Endwalker. So, you need a seaworthy vessel to seek these ruins? Considering it was your deeds which allowed us to return to fishing, I should think everyone would be glad for a chance to repay the favor. Wait here, and I will have a boat stocked and ready for you in no time at all. This child is still following us? Is he gonna like smuggle aboard? Oh, he changed into his armor. Have you noticed our little shadow? He's been following us since we left the city. Music immediately cuts out. We see you there, boy. Show yourself. It turns out we are like legendary heroes, adventurers, and combatants, so... Ah, it is you. Do you know how far out of our way we walked so that you'd not cross paths with some wild beast? Oh, it's very cute. Those two just like walking along like, you know he's there? Yeah, I know he's there. You want to take the long way? Yeah, that's probably safer. I'm sorry, sir, but aren't you the heroes who saved Thavnair? You are. I know you are. And I've gone and cheated you. I worked with Zashal, you see, the map merchant. It's my job to play the pleading orphan and convince the crowd his wares are worth the price he asks. I'm ashamed of what I've done, and I beg your forgiveness. If not for you, my sister and I would never have, well, we'd be... Enough. I knew your game and paid the price willingly. A fortunate purchase, as it turns out, for my friend here was seeking these very same ruins. You are too kind to overlook the wrong I have done you, but there is more you need to know. The map you bought is very real, as is the island it shows. I overheard Zashal selling the information to another customer. He told that man where he needed to search, about the ruins, about the vault, about everything. Then the man sailed out to find his fortune, never to return. You cannot go alone to that place. You should have more friends with you, maybe even a whole army. I do not doubt the ruins hold danger, but I assure you, between the two of us there is little we cannot overcome. Please, I cannot bear the thought of... We might need a hand moving the treasure, though. Well, now you've gone and made him cry. I've got to do that one. Now you've gone and made him cry. I did not. That was not my intention. Oh, very well. Assuming we do find this treasure hoard, it may prove wise to have more hands along for the carrying. Any ideas on whom to approach? The Scions have scattered far and wide since our last gathering. Ooh, we get to... Do we actually get to pick? Interesting. Interesting. I think Graha and Kryl are busy. I would invite them, but I think they're busy with Baldessian, and we've definitely seen Graha doing stuff with the new 24-man. Alphino and Alice say... I mean, they'd probably come over here in a heartbeat, but they've been helping Garlemald rebuild, and it also seems like, because of some of the stuff with the role quest, like the new bonus role quest, that there might be something that's happening in Garlemald. Thancred and Urianger are not bad picks, but they're on a dad vacation, and I kind of want them to just be able to honeymoon. And like I said, I'm actually curious if Y'shtola would have any interest in the fact that this guy jumped planes. So I'm gonna pick Y'shtola. It's also kind of interesting that she's the only one that's not paired off with everybody else. Y'shtola. Y'shtola. Her magics would be a welcome addition, aye, but I am loath to interrupt her research. Mayhap we could ask a less prickly companion. Oh, we can't, huh? We'll try them next. Thancred and Urianger? Thancred and Urianger, eh? Those two would answer our call, certainly, but they left the Rising Stone to the definite task in mind, and I am loath to interrupt their self-appointed mission. Maybe Graha and Kryl? We know that Kryl's supposed to play a role in future story, but it seems like they would be busy right now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is all going to go back to Alphino and Alice, but... Grahatia and Kryl. Aye, Kryl may have her hands full rebuilding the students, but if you reach out to Graha, he would surely leap at the invitation. Will that set your mind at ease? Yes, if that man is as strong as you... Is he though? Strong, I mean? Yes. And cute, and he's really good at making sandwiches. What is your name, boy? Merod, sir. Well, Merod, your life is yours to live as you will. But I suggest you find a more honest trade if you truly wish to keep your sister safe. I'm not proud of what I do, but what choice do I have? We need to eat, and everyone's too busy rebuilding their own lives to bother with two grubby orphans. Wait, boy. He's got Dad of War happening right now. Boy. I didn't take this roundabout road just to see you end up in some creature's belly. Let me walk you back by the city gates. Thank you, sir. Call me Istinian. He's gonna have so many adopted children, and then by the time the next 10-year story arc is finished, he's just gonna have so many. He's gonna get added into Dad's squad by proxy. Why are you shuffling around? What are you doing? Istinian is ready to escort Merod to safety. I shall leave you to recruit Graha. He'll appreciate the invitation that much more, I'm sure. As I recall, he was based at the Annex. Someone there ought to be able to point you in the right direction. Let us be off too, Merod. Do me a favor, don't stray from the path. Okay, let's go, friends for the road, cute. I mean, it is fitting because Graha did ask us to take him on our next adventure. I just assumed that they would relegate him to something like, you know, the 24-man, since we know that he's going to play a role in that. But when you think about it, out of all of the other Scions, although he has played such a huge pivotal role, he hasn't actually really had quite as much screen time, you know? He really didn't start playing a major role until Shadowbringers. Before that, he was involved in the Crystal Tower, but the character as we know him wouldn't really solidify until the second to last expansion that we've had. So it is nice to get to spend some more time with him and actually get to, you know, hang out and do something fun and take him on an adventure. And also, I love him. He's also one of my many, many, many partners. Because I'm sorry. If Final Fantasy XIV is going to give me so many good, attractive characters, then I cannot I cannot be monogamous. Not that I'm necessarily monogamous in real life, but I cannot necessarily be monogamous. Okay. Oh, look who it is. Welcome back, Arden. What might the student do for you? Graha? Yes, he's in the main hall with Mistress Kryle. They've been holed up in there for days. By all means, go and give them an excuse to take a break. What have they been up to? What did they do it? Kryle's supposed to be a major character moving forward, which I was kind of surprised about, honestly. I love it. She's wonderful.
Ah, Ujika, my good man.
There he is, good little face. Every time I get to see him again in a new patch or something, I just get super excited. It's like, it's been so long. It's only been, I don't know, like a month, and I'm just over here like, it's been 54 years.
Would you be so kind as to...
Hey.
Oh, isn't this a pleasant surprise?
I wish you had sent word ahead. I thought I was having visions for a moment there.
Sorry, girl, I didn't mean to spook you. There's an adventure to be had, though. How is the restoration of the students coming along?
Slow and steady. Raha and I have been compiling old records of the students' activities. We located several accounts in the archives of Numenon and added them to the collection we recovered from the Isle of Vow.
And judging by the progress we've made thus far, sorting this pile will keep us occupied for days to come.
People do still run Baldessian Arsenal. I really hope at some point they go back and adjust even more some of the Eureka stuff and the elemental armor and the notorious monsters and the, like, it would just be great if, like, those crystals and things that you need to upgrade stuff were available from just about anything that you did in that zone to literally encourage people to just do anything and try and get the gear and try and, you know, I hope they continue to go back and tweak that. Same with Boja, because there's such good content there, but it needs to be adjusted even more to be something that, like, people can do as side content that won't be, like, wildly prohibitive because there's just not that many people running it anymore.
But what brings you to the Annex, my friend? Surely you haven't come all this way just to watch us shuffle dusty papers around?
I mean, I don't know, that might be fun.
The treasure vault of Alzadaal III.
Yeah, Graha. I'm waiting for his little ears to go like...
looking for companions to join
like,
you on this expedition. I would dearly love to accompany you, of course, but I'm afraid I'm committed to another task. On the subject of which, I had hoped to ask for your assistance.
Oh, we're gonna help them out first and then go? It does make sense too with Baldessian and the group, right? Because they do look into, like, historical relics and things like that, so to be involved in the treasure vault does make sense. He wants to go so bad! Oh, he wants to go so bad! There's the ears! I'm sorry.
Then again, it's not so urgent that it can't wait until you've returned.
Graha, I feel the exact same way. They tell me there's a new dungeon and I'm over here like every single story beat like, please let it be time to go to the new dungeon.
You should go, Raha. I'll stay here and mind the shop, as it were.
Cute. I also do just love that they call him
I'd hate to leave you short-handed.
Which is like, so in the tribes, the different prefix of the like, so like our tribe and stuff like that, right? The different, is the prefix at the beginning of the name, denotes the tribe that they come from. So his like actual just name would be Raha, but the Garaha would like denote where he had come from and the family and clan he was from. His eyes are so shiny.
Just try to be back before too many moons have passed.
I love him so much.
Well, I guess we're off on another adventure already.
That's right, we are. Pack extra barrettes, we're going.
Have you asked anyone else to come along?
No, just you, because I love you. I did also, though, go down to every other person on the list
suggest
before
we
you,
invite
though.
your Stola?
I said as much to Estinian, and he said, no, 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 that's nonsense, Rook. It's not nonsense.
Ever since the Scions disbanded, she's spent most of her time cloistered within the Great Google Library, hoping to piece together a method to traverse the rift.
I love it. We'll have both
It
our
would
cat
seem,
friends.
however, that whatever wisdom she sought there was not to be found. She arrived in Sharlayan the other day. We spoke briefly before she began her search of Numenor.
I wonder if, now that Sharlayan is starting to open its doors a little bit more, if they'll ever go back to try and help work with Idleshire to reclaim the colony and stuff there. That would be so fantastic. And there's no threat of the Imperial Army
Considering what
anymore,
you've told us
so...
of Alzadaal's extraordinary feats, I do believe your Stola would be more than interested to hear what you have to say.
I mean, I agree.
Splendid! Then let us head to the archives at once.
Wait, before you go. I have another potential member to volunteer, if you've room to spare.
It's the nerdy friend
Urianger.
squad. I love it. We have D&D nerd, Urianger, who's gonna just love this. He's gonna love this classic textbook adventure. We've got Ishtola, who's all about that, you know, magic nerdery. We've got Graha, who's just all about that adventure life. I mean, and learning
He
and
sent the
discovering.
students a request for materials, you see. Treatises on the architecture of treasure vaults and the like.
What? Like a while ago, he's
From
super
what I
into
can
treasure.
gather, the Loporrits are looking to
Oh, I
make
see.
improvements to their own creation and wish to learn more about how we build things down here. So, why
What are
not
their
take
treasures gonna
Urianger
be?
with
Just
you?
like mountains
Let
of
him study
enchanted
Alzadaal's
carrots?
legacy firsthand.
None can deny the benefit of seeing something with your own eyes. If our expedition leader has no objections, I say we extend Urianger an invitation once we've spoken with your Stola.
Safe travels, you two. But don't forget, I'd still like your help with that other matter I mentioned.
Is that the 24-man intro?
Right. Then it's off to the library.
Feels like they're definitely setting that up as some kind of like additional side Oh no! Oh my gosh, I totally know what it is. It's her side quest. I completely spaced for a second in that we're getting two side quests, three I guess technically, with Hildebrand. We're getting the Omega side quest, we're getting Kyle side quest, and then we'll be getting Hildebrand side quest. So while her quest isn't out yet, it will be coming out. I think people are estimating, what, 6.15? Because they felt like having it at the same time during the main story quest was like a little bit awkward and diverted people's attention. I think is what they had said with like the live letter, so. Okay. We gotta pick up our other friends. So we'll go to the library. Oh, it's nice to, like, even though it was a short split from everybody, it's nice to be reunited again. I didn't know if they would just, I mean, it makes sense. They couldn't go full charging until, like, the next expansion, right? We can't go full charging into some kind of completely different world unless they had done something just wildly different, like giving us a map with a patch or something, you know? So it's not as though we could just really be out doing something completely by ourselves, all alone, without any allies that we know. And it's nice again to get this sort of little touch base with everybody. They just did such a good job with the characters in Endwalker. I feel like I love them all more than ever. Some people just dancing over there, alright. You go for it. It had gotten quiet a little bit. here since the expansion had finished. I mean, I think so many people, myself included, just went so hard. We played and played and played, and the story itself was so long that it was nice to have a little bit of a breather. Well, she wasn't hard to find, at least. Is she just sitting on the floor? Oh, she is. She's sleeping on the books? Oh, no. We gotta get her out of here. We gotta get her out of here. Oh, she's so good, though. I hope we get some more character beats with her. We didn't get quite as much time with her as we did a lot of the other characters last expansion.
I've never known you to doze off in the middle of research before.
She working so hard, Graha. Oh, she's so beautiful and good. Are we gonna do the same thing we did previously? Just like sit down for a little nap? It was with Alice. Just keep people from disturbing her. Keep the little mammoths away from her so that they don't harass her.
Close my eyes for one moment.
She's got little bits of grumpy Matoya energy. I'm living for it.
How long have you two been here?
The music! That was so cute! Her poor little ears! We were just watching you sleep, you know, like friends do. Catching up on some light reading.
Something to that effect. I must have been studying for 2-3 days straight before exhaustion finally claimed me.
Ishola, there is no crunch to do this. You go sleep, you eat food. Don't make us come over there and babysit you. We will do it.
As you know, I've been researching ways to travel from the source to one of its reflections.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looking for hints at least. I don't expect to find a simple set of instructions tucked away in some dark corner of the library.
Well, come out into the light and hang out with us and go on a treasure hunt.
So I've been skimming through the stacks, hoping to uncover even a partial mention of any similar feats in the past.
Well, do we have a mention for you?
A means to travel between worlds exists, and you can be sure I will find a way to employ it.
She is so diligent and dedicated and driven. Like, when she finds something that she wants to pursue or some facet of knowledge that she wants to just, like, ravenously consume, she just goes for it. And I think those are traits that a lot of times we just don't necessarily get to see as much brought to the forefront with her. So again, I like that we're getting a little more characterization, because she has been around for a really long time, but she's always kind of been one of those characters that maybe feels slightly less overtly shown in her personality traits, but you can intuit a lot, and like from the context of who she is and the people she knows and the relationships that she has with like Urianger and Matoya.
So I promised Runar, but 'twould seem I've set myself a nigh impossible task.
You needn't be so hard on yourself. The leap I made with the Crystal Tower was not achieved in an afternoon.
Nor even 3 days.
It was the culmination of a collective effort spanning generations.
Oh, you think me discouraged? I assure you, 'tis quite the opposite.
She's like, the less I can find, the more I want to
A
find
daunting
it.
challenge and the time to sink my teeth into it. I feel like a fresh-faced student again.
A scholar in her element.
Sleeping on the floor of the library, a scholar in her element.
Indeed. Was there something else you wish to ask of me? Alzadaal is no minor figure in Harnish history, and much is known about his family. But this is the first I've heard of a descendant surviving a trip to another world.
Interesting tidbits.
If those tales are true, then he may have left behind some clue as to how it was accomplished.
I like how echoey the library is too. All the marble.
An invitation to delve into one of the world's lingering mysteries. As if I could refuse. And whence do we embark upon this expedition?
Achiali, by ship.
Like now,
But before
or...?
that, we thought to extend an invitation to Urianger as well. He was in Thalmazane, last we heard.
Then by all means, let us recruit him, and be on our way.
We will make sure you get food and some rest on your way, and or on the ship. Everybody, we gotta collectively watch out for Ishola. I feel like she would be one of those people that if she were an IRL gamer, she would literally just... Her drink of choice is like espresso, right? But I could see her being one of those people that is like so hyper intensely focused on achieving some new rank in a competitive game or something that she just like sits in her chair for like 3 days straight, downing espresso or Mountain Dew. Like doesn't eat anything, doesn't even realize she hasn't eaten anything. It's just like completely fixed on this one task. Suddenly, everybody's teleporting. Oh, it took us out here. Interesting. Urianger. Oh, yeah, we gotta go down. Okay, we made it. I had to remember that I, like, can fly down here. I teleported to one and then I went, wait, hold on. That's not on the right level. And then I went, oh, right, I unlocked flight here, so I can just fly down. Easy. I don't see Thancred anywhere. Was he not supposed to be traveling with Urianger? Did they have a lover's feud?
Ah, our illustrious champion.
Hey. Me.
Cloaked in the mantle of the common explorer, fame set aside in thy pursuit of simple adventure.
It is very worth it to do again, for like the 4th time, very worth it to do the wardrobe change. They reward me with every single line of dialogue that they give me about it. You could view it more metaphorically, like, ah yes, you are cloaked in the title, technically, of adventurer, but I think it's even better if you have the garments on.
I am told a new expedition is in the offing.
How do you know? Oh, they told you before we got here? Tis good to see you well.
And thee. As ever, thou art the picture of strength.
I just... At any given time, whenever I see them in the game, I just imagine like all the scions in a room and I'm just standing there like patting their little faces like, I love you. I love you too. You're a good one. You're a good one. You're a keeper and you. You're a good one too. Oh wait, cry. You too, little buddy. Oh, love you all. Love you all. Cherish you.
You've been keeping yourself busy, I trust?
True to our plan, Thancred and I embarked upon a pilgrimage of sorts, with an eye for gauging the state of those lands through which we passed. Our travels were interrupted, however, by a request for aid from our befurred lunar allies.
Which is why they came down here.
As you may recall, the Loperids have been seeking new purpose for the moon, another role through which it might serve to benefit mankind. The Forum hath been working to advise them in this endeavor, but I return to offer mine own counsel.
And this has what to do with treasure vaults?
Yeah, it's like, why did they specifically want to know about treasure vaults, though?
Ah, you have learned of my predicament from Mistress Cryle.
Yes, well, they've been working together, Urianger, so...
I know not whence they acquired such knowledge, but the Loperids now stand convinced that adventurers delight in treasure hunts.
Is this, I don't know, some kind of commentary on the, is it the Excitatron? No. It would be the new maps, which I don't think is called Excitotron, right? It's something else. The dungeon is Excitotron. Either way, yes, it does turn out that we do like doing that, and that the treasure maps, which are also Lunar Rabbit themed, probably gave them that kind of assumption about us.
Thus, with their newly built wonderland of riches and mystery, do they hope to entice all manner of daring delvers to the moon? So earnest and innocent was their desire to bring joy to the world that I found myself powerless to refuse them my cooperation.
And yet, the world's treasuries and monetary systems are in extreme danger.
But what of you?
They're just
my
printing currency and
Why
raw
have you
gold
come
up
to
there.
Labyrinthos?
Just summoning it. For treasure. It turns out we like that. For real, though.
Fascinating. This is indeed a most fortuitous opportunity. I should be honored to accept thine invitation.
I'm guessing Thancred got fed up with the bunnies and went off to do something else. Or maybe he's gonna stay and help, or he's like researching something for them.
How long has it been, I wonder, when last our actions were not impelled by fate or desperation?
Just fun. It's just time for good old fun times.
Though I cherish the Scion's accomplishments, 'tis pleasant to not have the weight of the world upon our shoulders for a change.
Self-care is important, everybody. And if that
Counting
means
is
going
still
on
number
self-care,
5,
treasure hunting,
yes.
deep sea
Without knowing
diving,
what traps or perils await unwary
ancient relic
feet,
finding,
we may be
adventures with
wise
your
to
friends,
refrain
and that's what
from
it is.
recruiting others.
I agree. Between us, we should have the skills to handle whatever situation may arise. Shall we be on our way?
What, no time to spare a word for the grizzled old bard?
Oh, there's other dad!
All is well, I trust?
A wasted trip, I'm afraid. I'd hoped to catch up with a former mentor while you parleyed with the rabbits, but it seems our paths were not to cross.
I wonder if that character's gonna show up or be important at some point. How was your pilgrimage?
Having an astrologian beside you on the road is surprisingly convenient.
That tank and healer
And it doesn't
wombo
hurt
combo.
that he's making
That's
strides
right.
with his light-hearted banter.
These two have a lot to teach each other.
In any
They're
case,
so good, they're all
as we
so
made our way
good.
around Alzadaal, we saw that much of the continent was in various stages of chaos.
Oh, I wonder if they'll have more news about other places like
A
Corvus
certain
and
amount of
things.
disorder is to be expected. The final days are over, and the people no longer have a common threat binding them together. That's the thing with these fledgling troubles, eh? You need to keep an eye out, lest they mature into full-grown headaches. So, for what reason have so many esteemed personages seemed fit to gather?
We definitely weren't planning an adventure without you, but we were doing that. Sorry.
Beneath the waters of the Bounty, you say? I see you've already stolen away my traveling partner with the promise of unexplored ruins and scholarly glory.
Sorry, we'll give him back. We'll give your boyfriend back, I
It is not
promise.
for mine own indulgence, but rather the fulfillment of my commitment to the Loperids.
Thancred's like, mm-hmm.
Ah, of course. And if you have a Stinian rounding out your group, you'll likely have all the members you need.
Thancred, you can come too.
Feeling left out? I could put in a good word for you, if you like.
We may have been released from our obligations, but I'll never be free of that merciless wit of yours, will I? In all seriousness, it is best I sit this one out. Too many former scions consorting with one another might be seen as a cause for concern in certain quarters. I'll return to my usual reconnaissance.
I suppose
and
it
scout
could
out
also-
the situation in the Far East. Feel free to share if you come across any interesting revelations.
Could also be cause for concern, yeah. Like, not just, you know, cause for concern as in people don't like us being so powerful. Although obviously there has been some talk about the context of like the world trying to come up with their own powers and how those powers need to be like working together and strengthening ties and, you know, our new grand company of Eorzea and everything. So there's that concern from like a more political standpoint. But I could also see how a bunch of the Scions like all tackling something together could make people nervous that like the final days weren't truly over or something. You know, where too many Scions gather in one place, it's like dark storm clouds. There's gotta be something on the horizon, so I can see that too.
Till we meet again.
Okay, Thancred, see you later.
Shall we also hasten our departure? Sir Estinian will wonder what hath become of us.
Yay! I guess this does work out because with them it's almost a light party, right? Well, depending on like what role you yourself play, but they have all the roles covered. The 2 DPS, Graha's a flex, and then our healer with Urianger. So it's a perfect party balance. We need to go back to Akyali. I just want to know what's gonna be in the dungeon. Like, what are we gonna find in there? I assume we'll get some more information about traveling between the realms. Although that little glimpse that we got that really looked Void-centric, I wasn't sure if they were gonna do Void stuff. I think I even talked about this during the Endwalker playthrough at some point. I wasn't sure if they were gonna do Void stuff really imminently, or if that was gonna be something that would happen in like a couple expansions and they just do something that would be closer to home for the next expansion. But it also makes sense that they don't want people to think, you know, oh, this story is just going to go downhill from here or anything like that. They want to give everybody a little bit of a tidbit of something to hold on to and, you know, a new momentum pushing us forward, even if it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge, huge, huge thing like Hydaelyn Zodiark, right? It can start small and grow and take its time. So I am interested to see how they pace this. It could be that this vaults us much faster, much closer to something like the Void. It could also be that those role quests that we have play some other larger role in like tying together sort of like the bonus Void quests that we got back in Shadowbringers. So, we'll see. Hey! A friend! On the same story beat as me, or very close to it. I send you to recruit Graha, and you return with an entire survey party. I hope Matya's boat is sturdy enough to carry us all. What he means is, we are grateful for the use of one of your precious fishing vessels. We are more than glad for the chance to provide. I ask only that you take care to steer clear of the reefs in the shallows there. Aye, we will keep an eye out. Give me gold! In my travels, I spied many a child wandering alone, orphans in all likelihood. Though homes raised by beasts and blasphemies can be rebuilt, the void left by those we have lost cannot be so easily filled. Ah, the thrill of imminent adventure. I never tire of this feeling. Where's Isola? Oh, she's right there. She's the one that asked the quest. I thought like somebody was standing on her or something. I will pray to Sanduruva for your safe return. May the wealth of her blessings guide you to the treasure you seek. Isola is intrigued. Isola is curious about the legend. Alzadaal III. I confess I am somewhat embarrassed that the tale of his journey to another world escaped my notice. Could it be more than simple folklore? And what of the treasure he supposedly brought back? This undersea vault may hold relics from another reflection. Oh, it doesn't have to be the void, it could be anywhere! Untold horizons! My friends, We should temper our expectations. The map doth promise ruins, but beyond that, we know not what we will find. Not until we find it, aye. So let us dispense with the conjecture and set sail for the vault. This is the hype adventure music! I guess under the water we go! Oh! The dungeon is ready?! This is the dungeon?! Okay, I mean, yeah, I guess we'll do it! I guess I'll do it with NPCs too, because it seems like they would have some fun dialogue on this, so I guess we'll go for it, and we'll just do this. The treasure vault of a satrap will surely be filled with diverse traps and devilish deterrents. Caution is paramount. None who enter these ruins come out alive. Well, we shall see about that. We're gonna come out alive, I hope, or I'm gonna have a lot of concerns about the future of the game. I mean, unless we die, and then that's the twist, and that would be pretty wild. And then the next game takes place in some sort of the ethereal currents or something. I don't know, some other dimension. I am aware that this story about an otherworldly journey may be just that, a story. But even the wildest tale often contains a few grains of truth, and that is worth investigating. One can only spend so many days hunched over a desk before it begins to take its toll. A spot of vigorous exploration is exactly what I needed. Ah, I'm so excited! Okay, first time into Alzadaal's legacy. Fusion is gonna be losing his mind when he sees this. I don't know how many of you were 11 players, if you're really excited to see like this throwback. This is a lot. I never played 11, so I know that there was an 11 boss that we saw in the trailer and stuff that was featured for this, but I'm just excited to get a good underwater treasure hunting kind of dungeon experience. I just love dungeons. I'm a little sad that they stopped doing 2 per patch, but I also think that as long as the ones we get are really quality, and with like some of the new bonus content coming up, I still think it's going to be really good. Ooh. This looks fun. Oh, the like ruins on this island. Oh, I love it. Treasure hunting adventure. Let's do this! Come on, beautiful friends! The music is good on it too. It feels very like appropriate. I think it's a bit of a remix? Oh, or maybe is it 11 music? I hear little motifs that sound familiar from some of the zones and things though. It's so good. I love the like different little sounds in it. It makes it feel very mysterious. Oh, I should maybe, oh gosh. Oh, hold on. My function keys got locked, so I couldn't target Graha for a second. I was too busy jamming out. Too busy vibing. It'll be a little bit slower with trusts, but hopefully very worth it.
Hold still.
Hold still while I murder you, monkey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold on, I just want to take a look. Oh wait. There we go. This is really cool. I love the whole aesthetic. I mean, the nice thing is that, I think they've done such a beautiful job with realizing these zones. To get something that's a little bit of a romp like this, oh, it just means that people are coming in? What? I died? How? What? What does that mean? Are you like not supposed, like, can you not get clipped by them or they'll jump in and just immediately murder you? Are they supposed to like indicate stealth enemies that are like jumping out of stealth to super kill you? Or was it just that I got aggro and Graha didn't grab it fast enough? Go on, buddy. Okay. I think maybe I just got the aggro there for a second. Also, I should probably mention, on most of these dungeons and things, by the time they make it to YouTube, I will have already done them and know the mechanics. With these being my first actual runs, there are a lot of times too, as I'm recording and I'm talking and I'm taking everything in for the first time, that like, I just miss stuff or I don't notice specific mechanics or it just takes me a moment. But I love everybody that tries to offer like additional help in the comments about like do this or do that, but like usually it's been out for several months at that point. Or like, you know, when the comment happens and I have figured out the dungeon by then. So just a little note for everybody. Everybody is so kind and like so helpful in the 14 community. What I was saying is that I actually really love how they did the aesthetic, like, in Radz-at-Han, in Thavnair. I mean, it is fantastical, it's fantasy, but it also doesn't feel, like, gimmicky, if that makes sense. The inspiration from India and, you know, other cultures is so fantastic. It's so gorgeous. Oh, I just remembered. Liturgy of the Bell has been altered, so now I can put it down and pop it. Thank you, 6.1. I appreciate you. And were I to theoretically have a Dark Knight tank for this, we would also have some very noticeable changes with the way Living Dead works and being able to recoup health now. It's a lot of things that actually went through with the patch, so hopefully everybody enjoys the changes. I haven't done PvP yet, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, actually. For maybe the first time ever in Final Fantasy XIV. It's funny because I do almost feel like this is, I don't know why, but I just got a moment of nostalgia, almost like Brayflox, right? Where it's kind of a fun romp of a dungeon. The jungle aesthetic, maybe. The exciting music. It's just all so good. The waterfalls. I wonder if the weather is always, like, if it's always kind of overcast here, or if it's sort of like other dungeons, where if they have like an outdoor setting, they'll actually reflect like the weather of the region. This has to be, okay, hold on. I see. So it is like an ambush. It's like an ambush mechanic. So if you stand in those, you do get clipped and take damage, and then if they aggro on you, that must have been what killed me last time. Interesting. Maybe a way that they're trying to shake up people, like, knowing exactly where the packs and, like, mobs are in a dungeon. It also does give a kind of fun, secretive sort of feel to it. Like, there are all sorts of dangers lying in wait on the island. I don't know if they've changed it yet. Let me see. I mean, it seems like she's using her AoEs. For a while there with Trusts, they wouldn't use AoE abilities. Which really extra made the dungeons super slow to farm with them. And I know that was something that they were supposed to be working on, but... Is this the 11 guy? He's a Fangeli. He's got one blue hand. Kind of looks like a pacifier. And then one pointy, spear-like red tentacle. So I wonder if it does like fire ice or if their shapes indicate anything. Like maybe the pacifier is a donut or something and that one's like a line cleave. Ambujam! This is fun! It's also great that they're adding this into the expert roulette as opposed to taking something out. Oh, that applies bleed, huh? The gloves are off. Okay, tentacle dig. So he's gonna use his tentacles now. Prepare yourselves. Whoa, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, that one does like a homing spear kind of effect, it looks like. Or maybe it just... Okay.
Something
So,
special for you.
it like traces a line through the water, and then where it hits, it does like a big AoE. So we have to watch out for that. Can do. Oh, and it inflicts you with like a toxic status. So you're gonna take damage over time. Ah, there's two this time, wait!
I will not hold back.
Maybe there were two last time, but they just overlapped. Get my eyes on the fight, we'll see. Okay, so these will go off in order. Somebody was telling me recently that whenever they are learning a new fight with Trust, they always watch Y'shtola because she's far less likely to make mistakes than the other NPCs. And I was like, that sounds like our girl. That seems about right. She does things and she does them well. Big wave. AoE damage probably. Oh, that's the bleed. Okay.
You're mine. You're mine.
So far the difficulty level's not too bad on this. Minus the unexpected death. Okay, so there are two roving the arena. So we'll need to keep an eye out. Y'shtola came right over to this side. She knew what was up. Ah, and then maybe each of the different ones inflicts a different status on you. Maybe that's it. It's gonna be that bleed again. Let's try out the new Lily Bell, aka Liturgy of the Bell. I actually do like Liturgy a lot. For like dots or ongoing multi-hit damage, because if you take damage, then it does heal everybody. But some of the things that I started to encounter with like endgame progression and stuff like that, something we've been working on, or we were working on P4S, is that if there is a mechanic where like some of your allies will get hit by something, and then, you know, like an RNG kind of thing, like sometimes you get hit by it, sometimes you don't, sometimes it's tank, sometimes it's DPS, sometimes it's healers. If it's something like that, the unfortunate thing is that it like, if you don't get hit, if you're not in the group that gets hit, you don't have a reliable heal. So this change that they had was really nice for Liturgy. I always call it Lilybell because it was Lilybell during the immediate tour and it just rolls off the tongue a little bit better. But Liturgy, I'm really glad that they did this. Also, something really nice that I wanted to shout out is the fact that now if you already have like an item that you've redeemed, it will show a little check in the corner. So here you can see that I've already done, like I have these and I've already done them. Blue Dragon, Biblos. I think that was a change with 6.1, if I remember from the notes. Salt-encrusted teleporter. Oh, I have to like actually use it. I was like, do I just step on it like a jump pad, or... Oh, it's taking us underwater. The Arapago remnants. This is cool. All the tiles. Glyph of passage detected, confirming bearer's identity. Very technological. Look, we're deep under the bounty. Then our map was no fake after all. That's so good! Oh my gosh! When are we gonna get some kind of like house interior where the walls have a faux like underwater or aquarium kind of effect? Because that would be so good. Or like a fake, I don't know, a wallpaper or something that does something like that. This is very, very excellent. Is it Allegan? Doesn't seem like it, but the technology element is kind of curious to me. I don't know.
There.
This is gonna be a fun one to get. I'm glad it got added into the expert roulette, like I was mentioning earlier. I think right before the ambush, maybe? It seems like because we haven't been getting as many dungeons, the expert roulette in particular, it's like, I actually really like all the dungeons that have been on it, but you do get tired of running them a little bit, so to have them add more as opposed to removing them and making it just, again, 2 that are on there or something, I think will help keep it a little bit more fresh. We'll go grab the coffer. I didn't notice. We'll auto get all the loot and stuff from this. Oh, this must be what came from it. Darbar hat? Is this just a dyeable version of the other set? It might be. Darbar bracelet of slaying. I hope it's a new set though, because I love new sets. Well, the other set was dyeable, so it has to be a new set. Unrecognized ethereal signature. Brazen thief, you will proceed no further. Or this... No, it is elegant technology, right? This looks like a void gate. Or maybe from like ancient mock or something? Interesting. Or wait, I have so many theories. I'm over here like, wait. How about this? How about that? How about this one? There was... We had a great flood on our particular shard, but wasn't there another shard that was consumed by water? That would be kind of an interesting way to tie this in. We think it's going to be void or something, but it's actually that these portals and things tie into that particular shard.
This will hurt.
But I suppose it could be very possible that whoever this was also got technology from that other shard. I mean, I want to go to them, I think we all do, to get to see what those different worlds were like, especially after we were able to spend time on the first. It's like the big frontier, right? I'm sure the novelty won't be quite the same as it was when we were setting foot in Shadowbringers, where it really was the absolute first time we had even really thought we might be like setting foot there and going somewhere and having an entire expansion set on a different shard. But if we can figure out a way to open up the portals between all the different worlds and make, I don't know, our world almost a multi-world world where people could freely come and go and, you know, help out and rebuild and rebalance, that would be really fascinating. My gosh, these rooms are so cool. This dungeon is so cool. Ooh. I just love seeing the ruins and things underneath too. The fish going by. It's magical. Alright, we'll put liturgy down again. Why not? You have to do this time around main story quests to unlock the 24-man. I'm gonna try and get it unlocked, obviously. We're gonna be playing the story here, but so that we can do it on stream. And that's another, like, tidbit of lore that I just cannot wait to get my little grubby lore-mongering hands on. Everything that we're gonna learn about the 12, how they tie into all of this, and the realm of the ancients, and everything else that we have had sort of turn our entire understanding of Eorzea and Hydaelyn and everything upside down. Alright, that's them down. Let's see more of this gear. Earrings of aiming. We definitely got a hat. Did we get anything else? Don't look at my inventory. Don't judge my inventory. It's a mess. I don't think so. We just got the hat and then the accessories that we've been getting. Okay. These portals are so interesting. The like glowing technological bits remind me of Alec, but the actual kind of structures remind me of Omdipor and the War of the Magi. Clawtrap Alzadaal the 14th? What? What does that mean? Is that just like a funny little crab that has been ruling down here? Or is that actually one of the, like, Alzadaal's legacy, who, because of an imbalance of water ether or something, got turned into a magnificent crab king? Because that would be really good too.
Something special for you.
Put this down.
Allow me.
The trust system, the way that they implemented it, really does add to a lot of the story beats. I was saying during Endwalker, a lot of times I do like to default to doing my first run with other players. I just enjoy it, and I like taking the journey with everybody. But seeing how they've used a lot of the trust, and how even in Endwalker they've just stepped up their game on like integrating that moment into the story and how it all feels and flows together, I'm leaning a little bit more towards actually just taking them in for the most part, for the first run at least. Let's take a look at this room. Whoa, what? Ah! We got punted. Those are huge tentacles. Oh no! Oh jeez! I do like the big sharks. Those are cool. I think they're from, you see those too in the Ruby Sea zones. I have some concerns about the gigantic... That's totally its head right there, isn't it? Oh my gosh! I wonder if they used the model from a couple of the, oh, you know, the ones that have like the Kraken, the couple of dungeons that have those. Armored chariot. Turn back, treasure seeker, or this vault will be your grave. Or tomb even. Oh, the grabby hands like a little owl again. They are reskinned. They're gonna go off in order. 1. Oh, 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 oh boy. Okay, okay, okay. So they do. They block off like 3/4 of the, oh no, 2 squares, I see. So whichever ones the line goes across, it looks like it'll do each of those, like half of the arena essentially. A little bit of spicy AoE. These do kind of have an interesting, I don't know, steampunky vibe to them. These ones just seem to have... Oh boy. Ooh. Ah! Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, alright. Alright. There's like a little tiny sliver that you can stand in. I was going, they don't have numbers on them, so it doesn't seem like those ones detonate in a certain order. It's gonna be 1, and then 2, so we'll sidestep. Gotta love new mechanics.
I will end this farce.
I think they've had a nice variety recently of kind of different ways that they are approaching mechanics in dungeons and unique little gimmicks, even if they aren't necessarily always like the absolute hardest ever. It does feel like there is something kind of interesting and fun about each one. Okay, okay, okay. So it like reflects off of those shields that he's putting down. So if we stand just to the side of the shield, I think we're okay. I'll be a little bit sad when the final boss music is done. Like, I mean, it'll always play when we come back, but for like new dungeons, I'm sure we'll get even more of a banger for whatever the next expansion is, but I actually have really liked this one for like boss fights. Okay, so this is another one. We're gonna stand just to the side of that shield. Oh, he died. It don't matter. We do have an incredibly, incredibly loud car that is just vibing to their own music. Darbar Boots of Striking. Let's take a look at them. They are different. This is a different set. This is like a more padded. It's interesting because it definitely still has that look, like a Thavnarian look, but it feels more padded as though it were for like cold weather or something. I guess that padding could also just be for defensive purposes as well. How does it dye? Oh, it only dyes the fabric. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. It's got that kind of pink accent on it that you can't change. Maybe one day we'll get multi-channel dye. Can you imagine if we had like multiple dye slots? You could dye the color of the gems. You could dye the color of the metal. You could dye the fabric. We have that in Guild Wars 2, and it's like one of the best fashion things that they have in the game. It's just so good. In 14, I like a lot of the, I mean, you can dye weapons, which you can't do in Guild Wars 2, which is kind of trade-off. And I love so much of the fashion and so many things that we have. But one day maybe they could make it so that we could get multi-channel. I don't know how hard that would actually be from like a standpoint. I'm sure that those textures are already identified differently, you know what I mean? They have to internally dye them. I wonder if it's maybe just something more with like the amount of information that's stored about a particular piece of gear. And or making it so that all the different like colorations look good. I'm not totally sure. I'm not a developer, so I have no idea. Now here's this treasure we were hearing about. Holy butts, there's a lot of it. I think that'll take care of our little friend and his sister for maybe their entire lives. Although there has been a lot of tragedy, so maybe we'll set up an orphanage. There's been a lot of mention about the like children that have been displaced because of what had been happening. So it's fun. The big elements. Ooh, and a little bit of maybe some of that new gold texturing they've been working on to try and make it look a little bit more like actual metal and like it reflects things, you know, more vibrantly. These guys do seem to hit pretty hard, which is nice. Ooh, he's neat. Alzadaal's acrolith.
Hold still.
I'm gonna have to look up what acrolith means. Some kind of equivalent of like Gollum or something? He got one big arm, one tiny arm. Oh, I know. I bet you I know what model that shares. You know, in, oh my gosh, what is it? The one Castrum that has the like beautiful rose weapons, and one of the bosses has that huge jacked arm. I bet you anything they use that. I like this reskin though. That's very cool. Also, am I right in thinking, oh, hold on. What other riches might this vault hold other than gold? Oh, gosh. Okay, there were a few, there were 2 lines of dialogue that I missed that I just found in the log from previously. So Estinian, when we first made it into this gold area, says, this should more than cover the price of the map. Ishtola says, how much did you pay for it anyway? Yeah, this will definitely cover it, I think. Okay, no, it's just that it's a really long piece of music. I thought for a second that the music itself had been like morphing over the course of the dungeon and that we'd gotten into like more of a treasure fanfare. It is the same piece, it's just that it is like long enough and diverse enough that it actually transitions really well with the pacing of the dungeon. From the mysterious upper section that this part first started playing in to some of this like kind of the glory of the adventurer plumbing the depths for treasure. there water up above? There has to be, right? We can't really see it though. Hold on. But I see the light texture. Ah, there is! Neat. Okay. You all know me at this point. I'm just a big nerd when it comes to architecture. I really like the way that they like have textured things or built things out in games. I like all those little details. I'm one of those people that honestly has loved the mode that they introduced to really just allow you to like go into the dungeons and just sightsee in them. Because there's so many details that even if you've run something 100 times, you just miss. You don't see little tiny things that just contribute to like the ambiance and the look, where that you know that somebody had to sit there and go, I'm gonna put this in and it's gonna be really cool. Even if it's just the tiniest little tiny detail.
Hold still. You're mine!
Get the mimics. And get Graha some health so he doesn't die here. It'd be very sad if he wasn't able to make it for the 24-man story.
Hold still.
Gosh, okay, he dead. Ooh. This whole place has been so good. I really like the transition from kind of like haunted islands down to the actual sort of halls filled with treasure, the underwater components. That was one thing that I also really loved about Academia and like that dungeon. It's so cool. Just watching. How's health going? Now the real test is going to be seeing how spicy this is when tanks just like massive pull all the way down the hall. I guess we could, I could be pushing my luck a little bit more. But they have, over time it seems, tried to counteract some of that by adding in more stopping points or points where you can't actually just like wall to wall go through the whole dungeon. But I actually kind of always like that little bit of spice when you're first getting in, and then you're sitting here like, what are my cooldowns as a healer? Alright, let's do what we can to keep this tank alive. Ooh, it's a hidden wall. What's the final boss? Oh, it's Ribbon Man! Looming Warden. Capiculu. He's fun! We saw in the trailer that he does this thing where he like wraps everybody up and then spins them like tops. And I think they use one of the Hildebrand animations where they spin around, which is hilarious. I am ready for this. I wonder what minion comes, if there is a minion from this. I wonder what the whole set looks like. Are there weapons? I think it's accessories and armor. But we'll see here with this last boss. What is this oversized mammoth? Warning, this vault is under my protection. Failure to withdraw will invite chastisement. Oh no, we'll be chastised. Are people's corpses just like a hanging in beautiful fabric? It's gonna be a knockback into spikes or just like a be very careful not to get knocked back kind of situation.
Hold still.
Okay, he's gonna do the spinny thing, right? I'm a little... Oh, and it's gonna put this effect on us. What is happening? Oh! Maybe it allows you to pick, like, square by square what direction you're gonna go, because it seemed like it was going between the 4 cardinals, right?
Allow me.
So you have to, like, navigate your way around. I guess we'll see when it goes again. More bleed. We'll take a look at some of the dialogue here. Estidian, what foolishness is this? Ishola, how undignified. Graha, we regroup and counterattack. Over here. Oh, it'll like detonate the same color of fabric, maybe? Maybe. I wonder what this draws inspiration from. Is this a boss from another game, or maybe draws inspiration from mythology, or... I like the idea a lot. Okay, we're gonna spin out again. Okay, so he puts you up here. Well, it can't be perfect. Ah, I see. Ah! No! Oh gosh. Okay. So it's less than 8 is. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna die! No! This is terrible. Directing the momentum of that is so difficult because there's really no way to course correct quickly. Like, you cannot really change it. It is just kind of what it is if you end up too far over one direction because of that. I mean, it's a very fun mechanic, frustrating, but once you figure out how it works, I think it does add that little extra bit of challenge in predicting how the actual momentum itself works and what you can or can't do with that. I like it. I think it's a fun choice. It's a fun choice. We'll get our butts back and we'll try it again. That's the only bad thing about running these with trusts. That even if you did, like, even if we did at this point have somebody in our party that could do a resurrection, you won't. You'll just like automatically reset from 0 kind of thing. You have to go back because you yourself died. We're almost there. Weaver's Warding, the Thrice One Horde, the Arapido Remnants, Thrice One. Taken from 3 different places? 3 different shards or something? Also, the idea of like looting and pillaging shards that had already succumbed is pretty terrible. If that's what happened here, I don't know for sure. Who knows exactly? I mean, it's not like, I guess, the people of those worlds were gonna use the wealth if they'd all been turned into monsters, but you know, at the same time, it's like, it's pretty dire.
I will not hold back.
Okay, so we're gonna get pulled in again, and then we're gonna have this whole shenanigan. So, we want more like gradual changes. The second time around, it lasts a lot longer. Cruel Slice. How much you want to bet that a lot of these moves are all like weaving, billowing bolts? Yeah. They're all related to something to do with fabric or cloth craft.
Hold still.
Wild Weave. I'm not gonna lie, I would totally take some new kind of class in the game that had something to do with fabric or like using fabric bolts, or I don't know what it would even be. Something that would be a little gymnasty or have like cool things that you could do with that. Silk. It couldn't be Silk Dancer, but you know, that kind of vibe. Okay, I think we should be coming up on this second one. So we got it. This one lasts longer. And we've got to make sure. Oh my gosh. I think I made a huge mistake. No. No, go this way, you dingle! What are you doing? And of course the bleed lingers. I'm gonna have to figure out exactly the trajectory. The one good thing is that it does seem like maybe the cleaves across the arena that he does are the same. So like you should, in theory, always, once you figure out the right like momentum path, you should have an idea of what you need to do every time. Maybe it does change and we just lucked out and got very similar patterns. I'm not totally sure, but we don't have a large enough trial pool yet. Okay, here we go again. Green. With circles. Colossal surge of ether. Ooh. Inundates the hanging fabric. So he's like imbuing the fabric with the ether.
This is going to leave a mark.
There it is! Not nearly so humiliating as me facing the final boss of, oh gosh, the first Thavnair dungeon. Not nearly as humiliating. We got there. We figured it out a little faster. This is such a cool area. I love it. Very fun dungeon. Do like. I'm trying to think like where I would rank it with the others. I mean, I feel like the storytelling of Dead Ends is obviously incredible, right? I think Excitedtron is a lot of fun, and some of the bosses are like, you know, they're pretty spicy, interesting. This one I feel like sits pretty comfortably around those. Maybe it doesn't have like the full narrative impact of something like Dead Ends. Obviously, they're very different types of dungeons and like the placement of content and how they've been released. But maybe not quite as challenging as Excitedtron. I mean, it was about on par. I liked some of the mechanics, thought they were unique. Each one was a little bit different. It felt like we were definitely taking a journey. I love the novelty of the underwater areas. I don't know if like this last boss took my breath away, but I do think the sort of fabric gimmick and that unique animation and all that kind of stuff they put in was really fun. So like all around, I think this is really a like solid addition, a really fun adventure romp to add into everything. I would and will run it many more times, which is really what you want the most from a dungeon: replayability factor. And they tried a few different things in this too, so even that like little stealth ambush mechanic at the start, you can see them playing around with ideas. Oh, wait a second.
What
Is that
have we here?
a teleportation device? Does it lift up?
'Tis not unlike a Hunnish alchemical furnace in design.
I was thinking that too.
Well, there is one way we might find out.
Is it gonna burn you to a crisp in this world and then put you back together in the next?
Stop! You mustn't touch it.
Vrtra does know what this is. I figured there was no way that he wouldn't.
Vrtra! Oh, my apologies. Should I continue calling you Varshan?
You may address me as you wish. My nature is no longer a secret.
He's a little tiny
Still,
baby tail.
this is not a setting I imagined for our reunion. Surely you've not entered these ruins as common looters.
Looters is a harsh word. Adventurers is the current rebrand. Vrtra.
Would that we could deny your accusations, but I fear you're not far from the truth.
But I mean, we also don't understand. Does this place have a lot of significance?
Great Vrtra, might we beseech thee to explain the nature of this strange contrivance?
Tell us about it.
It was
Dish those
crafted by our
secrets.
alchemists at my behest, for the purpose of sealing something away.
Oh? It has to be that one. Well, I wasn't going to touch it, but you know
You and I will speak later.
That was so worth it. Oh my gosh. I have to say, well, I love Valka and I miss Valka. Having a slightly cheekier character, I do like. Well, I wasn't going to touch it, but the like strings, the like danger strings in the background. Now you can see why Estinian was like, well, you know, Ishula's kind of scary, and I don't want to make her grumpy. Step on me, girl. I'm fine with it.
Not the time for frivolity, my friend. Not the time.
Just teasing. We just saved the world. What else are we supposed to have frivolity?
This something of which thou speakest, might it be some manner of threat?
Vrtra, just out with it. If you can trust anybody, it's us.
Perhaps I should simply show you.
Okay. What is it? Mysteries on mysteries on mysteries. Void goop? Oh. What is that? A dimensional tear? Shola? That like...
I have lifted the seal, if only for the moment, by an authority only I possess.
A planar fissure?
It is!
No, my friend. Small though it may be, this is a functioning gate into the void.
Interesting. Okay, alright, alright. So we do maybe have a way. We've got a lot that we get to study here. I mean, creating void fissures or gates, well, fissures at least, fissures, is not impossible, but traveling through them and traversing them is like very difficult. Having a stable gate that you can go through would be a big boon. I came here in search of something that might further my research. I did not anticipate a fully functioning void gate. Can such a tiny portal truly be so dangerous? Well, things can come, all sorts of things can come through that, so. Even in the learned halls of Sharlayan, 'tis forbidden to throw wide the gates to the abyss. The peril is far too great. No, I want to talk to Varshan! No! Void gates and fissures are much the same thing in practice, in the sense that both allow passage between the Source and the 13th. The difference in terminology refers to the circumstances of their creation. A fissure is an incidental tear in the fabric between worlds, whereas a void gate is the product of deliberate action. I suspect this is the latter, judging by the elaborate mechanism put in place to control it. To think that our search for material riches would lead to this priceless discovery. That swirling emptiness. It puts me in mind of old friends, not to mention old foes. We are certainly not gonna go through this gate in this patch, are we? Are we? No. But maybe. That would be pretty fuck wild. Let me see if I can talk to Varshan now. A brother's grief. Did one of the dragons go through it or something? I expect you have more questions. Always. Endlessly. Just so many of them. Y'shtola, appraise this void gate and tell us what the situation is. Dragon Song. He must have lost somebody or two, or they got sucked in, or they got tainted by it, or...
I must admit, I am deathly curious to know how a void gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
Yes. It could be that the song is just used for generic dragon sadness now too,
we must
but...
first peer far to the south, and even further into memory.
Mericidia? I'm just holding out so much hope for Mericidia in the future. I want to go there so bad, so bad.
An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Mericidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them.
And the Warring
Desperate to seize any
Triad!
advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities.
I mean, all of this is coming together, right? If you've done those bonus quests and the Void quests, you had to have completed the Warring Triad. And with this, so this was back in Shadowbringers, once you completed the different role quests, and then you did that bonus, like, capstone quest. And then after that bonus capstone quest, there was another one, which were the Void quests. And my full playthrough of them is up here on YouTube in case you haven't had the time to play through it, or you just want to see my reactions to that specifically, or you want to go back and, like, pick apart for all sorts of stuff now that we know that for sure. I mean, we knew that they were going to play a role, but to actually get confirmation this early was not something I was directly expecting, which is awesome. So, the Warring Triad, Anukalai, the Void, the possibility that we know about going to the Void, and what might be possible maybe about reclaiming it or saving people, about those would-be heroes who were their own, like, Warriors of Light equivalents on the Shard and failed in their mission, which is where we also got some of the additional characters that we encountered and dealt with and spoke to in the quests leading up to the Void quests and throughout those. So I was not expecting this, but here we are. I guess we're just going all straight into it, 100%.
In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Void Scent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss.
It's so cool to see these elements all coming together. We've had hints about this time period and everything that occurred during it, but to actually have some of these characters and the dragons who are so long-lived to share their experience about how all these pieces fit together.
I consider myself well-versed in that period of history, yet you speak as one who witnessed it happen.
I mean, he did! Come on, you're smarter than this, buddy. He lived with his family. They hung out Mericidia in Dragonland.
Indeed, I did. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ajdaya.
And there's Ajdaya, one of the remaining dragons that we haven't seen yet.
We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but
not binary dragons
is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me.
Canonical non-binary dragons?
I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ajdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Void-sent hordes.
Will she die? Stop killing our beautiful lady.
Yet no matter how many of their vile
closest
to
lady identified
more
dragons
rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble.
I was just about to say, I would love
She
some
plunged
cutscenes.
through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength. I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her.
So did he try to make another, like, Void Gate to go find her?
And Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since.
Well, we gotta go get new dragon wife!
I find I must retract my earlier claim of historical knowledge. Nowhere in the Crystal Tower's archives did I see mention of such noble sacrifice.
That does not surprise me. To Allagan eyes, it must have seemed as if a lone dragon, driven to madness, simply dove through the gate and did not return.
She was so
For my
brave.
part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya. Until I could search no more. Until Alag was dust, and the arts to open a void gate large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the
Yeah, opening up
beginnings
a
of
void
gate
gate
right
big enough
here,
for a dragon.
under
It's
the control of a
little bit
harnessed
rough.
device.
My discovery came before Radzatan was founded.
like all my name days came at
Though I
once.
scoured the
That was
lands for a
Endwalker, now we're
method to
here.
cross the rift.
Mirror
It was
City of the
beneath the
Void,
sea
more
that I chanced
dragons.
to find a natural plane of
Thank you,
fissure.
Final Fantasy.
It was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn.
How convenient, because we
dedication
too
was
are
beyond
looking for a way to
reproach.
travel between the different
Tirelessly,
shards.
They worked to expand the fissure, and after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Is that why he made himself, like, this, like, mammoth in the shape of a child, essentially? As opposed to, like, a fully grown man, or...
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, that Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale is not a joyful one.
No.
With hope in my heart, I used the simulacrum to cross the threshold.
It's gotta be why.
But no, I did not find her. What I found was a host of void scent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. 'Twas but a moment, but enough.
Okay, so he
I had
didn't,
no
like, go
choice
all
but
the
to
way
retreat
in.
and allow the portal to contract once more.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between
Oh, he's
endangering
such a
Khan and
Vrtra is
abandoning your
just
sister.
So
You chose the
noble.
latter.
'Twas not that thy sibling scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass. Even now, in the desolate world of the 13th.
But I mean, there's gotta be something there that remains, right? There has to be. Otherwise, like, what would we possibly do to try and really truly turn the tides? And we think, at least at this point, that Void Scent, or, right, so we assume if, like, Void Scent are corrupted people that, much like Sin Eaters, you know, had their ethereal balance so tipped this time towards darkness, that they morphed and changed, right? So many of them are so altered that, at least from our current understanding of reversing the process, how would we reclaim the world, you know? So there has to be, I mean, there have to be more developments in store for that, and or some who survived somewhere, maybe, or, I mean, there's a lot of mysteries still within this.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being
Although it is
warped into
terrifying to
creature
think
the
of a
void.
void-sent dragon. Like a real, like one of the original dragon, you know, that's gonna, has to be spicy if that ends up being a boss or something.
You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness.
I remember when Nero turned purple. Okay, I'm gonna be serious now because this is a serious moment, and we have very sad dragon on our hands, and so I need to respect that. I thought our time had come.
As did I. Were it not for Une and Doga, or Nero for that matter, we might never have made it home. Do you remember what happened to Nero? How his wounds allowed the Void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether? Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
I mean, there's always hope, buddy. What do you think the whole last expansion was about?
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities.
Oh, Graha. So yeah, you're not really
The
being,
scales of the first
not being
brood
super
are
helpful, but
extraordinarily
wonderful.
resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome.
He's like, yeah, no.
Of course. With the warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
Ooh, maybe enabling us to go there.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late.
My gosh, you forget how long it's been, how ancient they are. It's amazing.
And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection.
Yeah, but we currently are in a state of sort of unemployed. Adventurers, we'll call it. So, we can all go to us. Justinian might soon be employed if he takes up your job offer, so I can't speak to him, but the rest of us.
So when I sensed intruders in the ruins, I came only to ensure that the gate remained closed. That, and to secure the treasure, of course.
Did the others get killed by the Guardians on the island, or did he just, like, pick them up and hide them away so they could never talk about what they found?
I wish only to forget the rest.
Varshan, aka Vrtra, we will save her, okay? Look, it's my duty, it's my special duty to save all amazing, majestic, incredible, non-binary dragons in this whole universe. It's my... I will save everyone that I can. We've lost a few already. It was unacceptable. So I'm gonna do everything that I can to save your sister. However I gotta do that, that's my new goal. Vrtra's grief for a lost sibling will be no mystery to Estinian. His hath been a life entwined with sorrow, even before he became host to Nidhogg's essence. The 13th. What chaos must consume that world? I mean, it would be pretty fun to be in a place that is, like, wholly hostile, and just amidst the ruins, you know? Like, that would be, I mean, the Void would be very good for our next expansion. So they managed not only to expand the fissure, but also manipulate it as one might a gate. Astonishing. Is there any chance I can learn more of how this feat was accomplished? Oh, dang it, I did it again and I clicked on somebody too excitedly. I will tell you what I can. First, however, I must return to the High Crucible and arrange to replace the Guardians you so handily destroyed. It will not do to leave the gate undefended. Ah, my apologies. We were perhaps a touch zealous in our rush to uncover the vault's secrets. If the constructs can be repaired, we would be happy to offer our assistance. That will not be necessary. Much as I retain spare vessels for myself, we keep duplicate Guardians on hand for such eventualities. In any case, we should return to Alzadaal. Oh, Estinian, I'm sorry. I would have loved to have talked to you, but I did a goof. I've got to pay attention more. This is the problem I was even encountering like halfway through Endwalker. I was just getting too excited. I'm like, click on everybody, click on every single name. And then I realized, oh, I clicked on the one that has the icon over there at this time. Oops.